Welcome to the Salt Circle podcast. I'm the one who runs from both the living and the dead. And with me is Ben. Are you wearing the socks, though?
Oh, we're doing this episode first. Okay. Thought you just messed up the title. All right. I'm not wearing socks, so I'm fucked.
Oh, no. We're definitely going to die.
Oh.
We're doomed.
Yeah.
We're talking car battle movies. I never came up with a better title for this.
Yeah.
Look, it's a way to do an episode with Mad Max and Speed Racer, and then some other movies, I guess.
Yeah.
Specifically, the other two are Redline, an anime movie from 2009, and Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof, the second half of Grindhouse. That I almost cut from this episode, but at the very end, I think that's a good car battle. It's a very different movie from the other ones we're talking about.
Yeah. No, I mean originally I was hoping there would be another film in the closer to the same vein as Mad Max. Death Race kind of came to mind, but like the distance portion is important, you know? And it turns out there's just like not there's not like
Turns out Mad Max Fury Road is fucking great because there aren't really comparable movies.
Dude, like, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's an excuse to watch that film again.
Like we could have paired it with the other Mad Max movies, but those aren't as good. Those aren't gonna give. If what you want is Fury Road, those aren't gonna give you what I want. There's like an interesting progression if you take those movies as a whole, as they kind of start pointing towards Fury Road, even as the third one is worse than the second one. But there's also all that Mel Gibson to deal with, which is
gross,
not ideal. Yeah. So instead, we did Redline, Speed Racer, Mad Max Fury Road, and Death Proof, just as a smattering of movies to talk about cars and racing and stuff. Going fast. Gotta go fast.
I mean, yeah, that's the crux of the thing.
I mean, we could have themed it more about like capitalism is bad or something, I guess.
I'm on vacation, Hank. I mean, I guess let's start with the weaker ones.
Sure. So let's start with Redline, I guess.
I feel betrayed.
Why?
I've been tricked, possibly bamboozled. They really... I was excited for the big race. I was excited for it to just be a big old race, and then it turned out to be about like a giant baby.
It's the bioweapon.
I don't care though.
It's a weapon of mass destruction.
I really hoped,
giant baby that shoots purple out of its face.
I really hoped that this would be the film to give me roughly 90 minutes of non-stop car battle, and it failed to deliver spectacularly. The style is great. I love when they hit the nitrous capsule go fast pill thing, and the car just extends to be like 200 yards long. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and this is like you've kind of ruined me a bit by showing me Promare. The soundtrack did not get my heart pumping enough. Like they're going fast, but the beats per minute is not fast enough. So,
yeah. I also just don't like JP.
Sure. Yeah.
I just don't like him. I think that's like
Why?
my.
Out
I
of
don't know.
curiosity.
I just kind of don't.
I mean, that's fair. I just like there's
Something like particularly against him. I just kind of don't like him.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't paying it like literally this entire film. Anytime we weren't actively in a car or doing something to a car, I'm like, y'all need to stop. Like, you're not here to be characters with dreams and hopes and lives. You're here to drive a fucking car, okay?
No, it's about love, Ben.
No, it's not.
Did you see the end thing at the end? It said love, and there were two little hearts.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah,
characters were just flying,
I was there.
making out. It's about love. This movie feels like a fake movie to me, and having seen it multiple times, I still feel that way. Something about the way it's animated feels like this shouldn't be a movie. It should be like something that was animated for a music video or something. I don't know.
I mean, it yeah. And it maybe it'd do better there. As like a long
Because there's something, I don't know, there's something about it that's like, there's like clearly a lot of like money in it. It's like well animated, but it feels, I can't get invested in it kind of or something. I don't know. Its style, like, it's like that, this is like, or like its style just doesn't completely work for me, I guess. Like, I don't love how it looks, but I recognize it as like being technically proficient or something.
yeah. I thought I was gonna get like sick of the art. Not maybe not sick. I don't know. It was fine. It was good. It did a lot of things that I like.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I should like it more, and I just don't.
I definitely could see like I mean my initial analogy of like eating a super rich piece a piece of super rich chocolate cake is fine, but eating the entire cake is too much. I thought that was going to be my circumstance. Yeah.
Also, I just think the pompadour's dumb. I don't know. I just think it's dumb, and then it's like the major plot point at the very end. I'm like, that's stupid. He wins the race because his pompadour is too long.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just not my bag. It's not my. I don't love it. I don't have like a problem with it. It's just like, I don't like it as much.
Yeah,
it's not as good as Speed Racer.
Dude, I mean, I made a mistake watching.
It came out a year after Speed Racer.
So. I watched Speed Racer before watching Redline.
Big mistake. Same by years for me.
But. Okay, well, not all of us are movie watchers.
I mean, I only watched this Redline like this year, or within the past year for the first time.
When I initially
heard it compared to other things that are good, like Promare or whatever, but
I mean, they could, yeah, dude. These reviews on Wikipedia are like, I don't know if they're cherry picked. I mean, probably a bit, but
yeah, it's a review is on Wikipedia. Somebody picked it and put it there. Like, that's literally how that happens.
I'm just saying, like,
they don't randomly pick quotes.
They didn't choose a single bad review, so all of them are like, very special, very different, insanely exhilarating. It's I
can also look at this movie and say, oh yeah, I can see how someone would, if this was your bag, you would just fucking love it.
Yeah. And see,
if you're more, I don't know, if you're more of an edgy teen, maybe you just like it more than Speed Racer even. Like, I could see the person who had that opinion that I completely disagree with, but like,
yeah,
I kind of get it.
See, I guess that's my thing. I should love this movie, I think. like more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just I really didn't care for that B plot. Like, I think
Which one? About Frisbee and the
that
throwing
was
the races?
that was okay
Or
because
do you mean
it's
the
more related.
bioweapon, like
Yeah, the bioweapon.
military?
Yeah,
The fact that this race takes place on like a planet that's making weapons of mass destruction and
So
wants to murder all the racers. And is like fake space Nazis.
I think having the military planet and like they're attacking the racers and stuff, that's totally fine. There's room, like you're as long. My thing is
I do think it's a little much.
It's a bit much.
They the entire movie is too much, I guess. Also, so it fits for what the movie is.
I just it's not necessarily like the idea of the bioweapon or whatever the hell that lizard thing was. I forget now. I just know like someone turned into it or some shit.
Yeah, well, they've got the giant baby, and then that other dude merges with the other thing, to fight it.
Naturally,
I don't know.
Yeah,
different bioweapon.
It's not like my problem isn't with that plot point. My problem is that plot point caused them to stop driving, and that is like the biggest sin that this movie could commit.
Like, it loses the threat of the race at a certain point.
Yeah, and I like that's the part, and they bring it back like in the last seconds, but like that's what I care about. So, and I think the military on their own, like that's totally fine. You got people driving long distance battle cars, like it's a perfect opportunity for some good car battles. But instead, they're like, what if a bio baby?
You're fine with the Tusken Raiders attacking the pod race. I got it. Yeah.
I mean,
that should have fucking Phantom Menace should have been our other movie.
No. The Tusken Raiders needed to be in their own Tusken Raider pod racers.
Oh hell yeah. Tusken Raiders. Where are the Tusken Raider pod racers?
If that had been in that film, we probably would have watched it. Like it would have been included in.
You're not wrong.
So yeah, that's my big take from
also,
it.
If it had been the climax of that movie.
Which had been?
If the pod race had been the climax of episode
for that
1
film.
also.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
Weird. It's it's not that hard for me to start thinking about a version of episode 1 that I would have liked better. It's not a hard thing.
Make the fan edit. Make the fan edit. Be the hero.
I'm good. I'll leave that to Topher Grace.
So, yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth thinking about the end of Redline, specifically the fact that like by the time they're finishing, they're literally like blown across the finish line because their car exploded.
I don't like that they end the race by just like physically running. That's lame to me.
Weren't they going through the air?
They are flying through the air, but they're like running through the air, kind of. I just think that's lame.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth
a car
on
race.
I've gone back and forth. Like, on one hand,
you should be on like on a unicycle or something. Like there should be some remnants of the car left.
Yeah, like
I don't care how small, like a wheel on their shoe, but something.
I mean, I think the perfect blend is them sitting in the seats with the steering wheel in their hand and like the gear shift in the other hand, and that's how they cross. Seat belts on. Like I'm okay with that concept. Like the car is just getting like disintegrated as they keep putting more shit into it is pretty good.
Yeah, totally.
But
Redline there's plenty of good ideas and stuff in Redline. Somehow it just doesn't come together for me. I would like It's
No,
like why don't I like this more? Is like my main feeling, and it's like kind of anything I was saying about it is like trying to reverse engineer like why I feel that way.
oh, totally. Yeah, no, I mean, I've got mine figured out. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine film. Like
Yeah,
it falls into like maybe even just a shade above average for me. But like,
sure.
I'm not gonna go out and find like the 1080p, like the Blu-ray special edition to put on my
No,
shelf.
I honestly find it kind of forgettable.
Yeah. I mean, the memorable moments.
I mean, I watched it not that long ago, and I needed a refresh because I just forgot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Like honestly, I had like kind of forgotten all about Frisbee and his shit. Like
Yeah,
I kind of
it's
like just
pretty-
didn't remember by the end.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
like after having watched it, I remember them. I remember like her sitting in his lap in that car, and them going fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough. That's good enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all I got for that film. Needs more cars,
Yeah.
needs a better slightly better soundtrack. Needs to bump more. That's my
All right, now let's change in speed. Let's downshift
E.
into the oldest movie we watched, which is 2007's Death Proof.
So it's been a while since I've seen a Tarantino film. I can't even remember what the last one I would have seen was. And I think between the last film that I saw and now, it's been long enough that like I couldn't remember specific instances, but I've seen all the memes online about like him having a foot fetish. And I'm like, yeah, I mean that sounds right, but I can't think of an instance where it's applicable.
No,
I now
he's
have
indulging
that
here.
I now that dude is like, what if like everyone just hangs their feet out of the car, and like that? I mean, the initial shot, obviously, like 5 minutes of
Yeah.
close up feet, and then there was one point, because as I said, you know, everybody's hanging their feet out of the car, crossing their legs and stuff. There was one point where one of the girls had her feet up, and she like tilted it towards the camera, and I'm like, is she just doing that, or did Tarantino like, was he like, you got to turn your soul, you got to spike the lens with the sole of your foot,
Probably.
give your toes a little
or
clench.
shooting her long enough that it happened. One or the other.
Just wait. He's just been shooting for hours, like waiting for her to naturally do that, and she finally does it, and he's like, oh, there it is. So yeah, I now have that experience. This I had no idea what to make of this film, and I mean, I thought, you know, obviously with the car early on, and I thought you're like, the back half picks up. I'm like, okay, so like the car is gonna be like following them. This is a battle car movie, so maybe like they keep driving and they're just like the car's chasing them. I'm trying to guess.
I mean,
and then what's his name?
yeah.
Actor that I recognize but don't know the name of.
Stuntman Mike, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah. They said his name. I'm like, ooh, it's Kurt Russell, and then I immediately forgot that it was him. Yeah, when he shows up and he's doing his whole thing, like I totally bought it. And then he does the lap dance thing, and I'm like, this is getting uncomfortable. Like, I'm really fucking uncomfortable watching this. And I'm like, Hank, what are you doing? Where have you led me? I don't know if I like this. And then he just fucking murders everyone. I'm like, okay, we're back. It's fine. It's cool.
All those people are dead.
All those people are dead. I mean, as long as it went somewhere, you know. And that was, I mean, like, that was.
That's like the thing about Death Proof is that it was in theaters as the second half of a double feature, and then it itself is like two movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say, so a fact about Death Proof in Grindhouse, there was a joke they would do where they would. So there are still some like jump cuts in this of like it's an old movie missing parts of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the lap dance, it went real missing, and the lap dance was not in the theatrical version of this movie when I saw it the first time.
Oh, wild.
Which was I honestly prefer. It's much funnier to me to like all that build up for the lap dance and then they just cut it out.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that.
I think that's just better.
Yeah. And then like
And
the
also
whole...
the woman playing Pam who gets in his passenger seat at the end of that part.
Yeah.
She's like a major character and is like gets a gun leg in the Planet Terror, which is the first half of Grindhouse, the other movie, the Robert Rodriguez
okay.
movie.
Okay.
So she's like the badass main character hero of the movie you just watched if you're watching Grindhouse.
Okay.
Which is
Interesting.
also like an interesting aspect of this movie watching it the first time or watching it in the theater as it was originally shown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and Planet Terror is like complete high octane. So like and then you get all these fake trailers that are hilarious. So this is like the first half, the first 3/4 of this are like a complete like come down before the finale. It's like getting you to relax and just zone out or whatever after you've been sugar charged. Because I will say like the first 3/4 of this movie or whatever are pretty slow.
I mean,
Very talky. They're very. It's just these women talking about sex.
I mean, it was good though. Kept my attention.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I enjoy it. It's just, not battle cars.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm like in that nice meme I sent you with the antenna picture. Like, it's not that these are bad.
Yeah.
They're just totally
Mm-hmm. And I love this movie, but like I get why there are people who don't like it. I fucking love it because I think all that slowness building into the payoff at the end I've loved so much,
dude.
That it's all worth it to get to those last 20 minutes. It's all worth it for me.
When we get to the battle bits, and I forget the character's name, but Zoe Bell. When she flies off the hood of the car, and then they're like crying, and she like jumps up, and she's like, "I'm okay."
The "I'm okay" is so fucking funny.
It's great. And
like it's also that like they actually did that. Like she was actually on the hood of that car when they filmed that. Like it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and the fact that the ending is just so cathartic. Like just watching this piece of shit, and then it's just literally like we're gonna
just pure catharsis for 20 minutes.
Beat this shit out of you.
He's crying and saying he's sorry.
It was just a prank, bro.
I was just playing around. It's like we watched the whole movie where you were like the fucking slasher villain monster. No sympathy.
God,
Rosario Dawson says, "Let's fucking kill this guy."
Yeah,
so,
dude,
it's so good,
dude. It's great. I mean, the bits where before that, when they're like, they got the belts tied to the car. She's like hanging on. I'm like, yeah,
She's gonna go sailing.
I can respect that. That's that's
ship's mass. That's what they call it.
That's some Utena shit. Every time you rev the engine, you get a little closer to climax. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're like one hard cut away from like their shirts opening up.
Uh,
Good shit though.
Also, it's fucking hilarious when they just leave their friend behind and you just never just never goes back to,
I forget
to her.
her.
It never cuts back after they leave her there. We just never see her again.
Her fucking just like when the guy walks up to her and she's just like audibly says gulp. And then it cuts.
Yes.
Oh, it's
And
so
she's
good.
just out of the movie.
Yep.
Good shit. But yeah, that's some like practical, hard-nosed, good cars hitting each other.
Yeah.
And also there's a human being just fucking swimming around up there, which is wild.
Happens, man.
It's just, it's the pure practical that Speed Racer definitely isn't.
Yeah, that's a good segue. You got anything more on Death Proof? I mean,
No, like it's just that last 20 minutes is just such
Oh.
good catharsis.
Oh,
It's just so
absolutely.
fucking good.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I feel like I say this every fucking time we watch a movie because I'm Mr. Turn off his brain while watching.
Sure.
I'm just like, I have no idea where this is going. Like, I don't.
Mhm.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen a Tarantino film. Like, maybe he just kills everyone in the end, and dude drives off. But no, that was God. It was so when she gets the fucking pipe. Oh, she's just she's just like jabbing him through the window. Oh my God.
They pull him out of the car at the end. He's like, "Watch out, my arm's broken."
Oh, you mean like this? And then they fucking double down on it.
Then just fucking punching him.
Dude. Oh my God.
And like, and they put their hands up at the ends. It says the end.
Yeah.
And
he's
then
just-
it goes back to them walking around, and for Rosario Dawson to fucking drop kick his skull.
Oh my God.
That drop kick is so good.
Absolutely fantastic ending. Build up is absolutely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a great film.
And I like how it transitions from like with the first half with the like 70s filter and the like
Yeah.
the film skipping occasionally. It's like this is the classic stuntman Mike kills people movie, like sleazy slasher movie. And then we get like the modern slick, these women are going to fucking kick the shit out of him.
Oh man,
I just like it. I really like it. It puts a smile on my face at the end.
yeah. Oh man, I forgot. I mean I knew, but I forgot. I just saw in the plot summary like, I forgot that she tells the dude who's selling the car that Lee is a porn star, and then leaves her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's shooting a cheerleader film.
What do you mean, like
God.
porn? Yes.
Yeah. But she's shy
Sure.
about it. Don't bring it up.
Don't tell her. Don't talk. Don't bring it up. Good shit.
Yeah.
Okay, but when I was a while ago, I was trying to build like a top 25 movies since the turn of the century, and 2 of these movies were on that list, and it wasn't Redline or Death Proof.
I'm shocked.
Fucking. Let's talk about. Which one do you want to talk about first? Actually,
I think it's got to be Speed Racer.
all right.
Also, you had the good segue.
Car is a living, breathing thing, and she's alive.
I mean, sure. I was gonna start our focus on the fact that like those parents had kids over the course of like 30 years.
Look, they're into each other.
I guess. I just can't imagine, like, having a kid and then 18 years later being like, yeah, we could go for a second. And then another 18 years later being like, why not a third?
Well,
Or
you know,
whatever.
after they watched their son die on TV, they might have like maybe
Wanted a replacement.
wanted to, yeah, uh-huh.
No, so I went in with like slightly different expectations, I guess. I thought it was going to be more, because I only remember seeing like trailers for this, and of course they only showed like the hard racetrack parts. So I thought it was going to be like a more, if not a gritty take on Speed Racer, just like a more like Speed Racer being a realistic film, right? And
Sure.
I mean,
The marketing failed this movie.
yeah, and my expectations
Like
were
this was
totally different.
Speed Racer was a complete and utter bomb
Yeah,
in when it
but
came out.
as soon as I realized what the movie was doing, I'm like, all right, I am down for this ride, and it's fucking great. Like,
It's so fucking good.
dude, I understand why it bombed, but also like
Yeah.
some of these reviews that I was reading, like, I just feel like people were reviewing the movie they wanted or something. Like, for what this film
critics didn't
does,
have
it's
taste.
fucking great. Like, this film is
It's so
so good. It's such a this is, I finally got something I've wanted for so long, and that was just not having family drama be a incredible plot point, in the sense of like, oh no, one of his loved ones betrays him, or like there's drama at home, or his girl leaves him or something. Like, it's just a night, like, it's such a good like family film. It's a good like racing battle car film. Like,
Yeah.
it seems, I've not done much of Speed Racer. I'm not like a fanboy or anything, but I know a little bit of it. Like, when they near the end, when they were like building up to the theme, especially with the guns and stuff, when they all pull out a gun on the dude, like, I recognized that, and I kind of knew, like, I knew there was the monkey, I knew there was the kid, I knew that his brother had crashed or whatever, that sort of stuff.
Racetracks.
And like, it just seemed like such a good adaptation of that. Like, oh my god, this was just such a solid film all around.
Like like the entire aesthetic of this movie makes sense if you think like, okay, so they're starting with how Speed Racer as a character looks. How do we make this a world where that doesn't look silly? Like, where that fits in.
Yeah.
So like the entire world is like, I don't know, completely color coded. You know, you've got, antenna, the purple, the color of evil. And it's ahead of its time. It's a car, or I don't know, it's a car movie about family. People should have loved it.
Jesus. Yeah, but I guess,
about family.
What? I guess they did have they had that scene where like everybody pulls out a gun, like, show them what family means.
I'm telling you, dude.
God.
It's also about how capitalism is bad.
It's so fucking good. Dude,
It's also about making art.
Yeah.
And how capitalism is bad.
You're out there making art. The art he makes.
Yeah, dude. You see how fast he goes? It's
fucking
crazy.
fast.
He's fucking good at it.
Yeah,
the big thing to me is like the editing in this movie is unfucking really good.
Yeah.
Particularly in like the races at the very beginning and the very end of the movie, like the bookends.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they cut together with the like interstitials, commentators like sliding across the screen, like stepping up from George Lucas's slide wipes.
Yeah.
And just like putting a person on the edge of that. and the way they intercut. Then at the end, the way they like pay off all the like important conversations Speed has had over the course of the movie, just pulling out the like important lines to like put it all together. Oh, it's just so fucking good. God. And the way that the intro, they have this the speed racers racing, going fast. There's drama, but they shove in all the backstory and exposition we're gonna need.
Yeah,
there
dude.
too, as like part of the story of this race, like informing the sports story as well as the movie. God, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, man, like it makes me
like,
so
oh
angry
man, like
reading
even like
reviews.
after he turns down Royalton, and Royalton's like, as we're cutting into the Fuji race, and it's cutting back to Royalton in that room, like telling him exactly what's gonna happen. Oh,
yeah,
it's just so fucking good. like cutting back between time periods there.
Yeah,
and then Spritle gives him a middle finger as they're going down the elevator.
Dude, him in the chimp. What's the chimp's name? Chip, choop, choop, chop, chop, chimpy. Chim. There we go. Something like that. Good shit. Like, normally it's real easy for that type of character to annoy me. And it didn't at all. Like, it just fit in. So, and that's one of the things, like that really cartoony stuff they just did so well. Like, even Speed's girlfriend Trixie calling him Pops. Like, everybody just calls him Pops. Like, that didn't feel forced at all. It felt like this is just like the thing in this world, you know. And the stuff was how is it? Spritle, I guess. Spritle. They're both not great. Such a Rex, Speed, and Spritle.
His brother Spritle, his mechanic Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky makes sense. No, like they're shenanigans.
It's a race car driver called Speed Racer.
Yeah. The candy bits, like the show. I love that we got Spritle and Chim Chim like doing the kids like cartoon attacks like in the living room.
Oh yeah,
and
when they're watching anime.
Yeah, and then we get the payoff later when they do it to the guy
in the ninja.
Yeah, and then fucking Pops like it's not even such a bad ninja. They don't make ninjas good anymore.
More like a nanja.
That's right. Yeah.
So good. I love the fucking Casa Cristo, like the cross continents race that like everyone is a fucking cheater, but we have the announcers who are like, there may be a few bad apples, but mostly it's a clean race.
Yeah.
Just like coming up with an explanation for everything.
It's
like, dude pulls out a fucking gun on the racetrack, and the commentator's just like, altitude sickness, it gets crazy up there.
Yeah, it must have, lack of oxygen must have gotten to him. That's wild. I can't believe someone would just do that.
I do love that after we have that whole race of like fucking bee catapults and shit, like dude just pulls out a pistol.
Pulls out a fucking God, it's so good. Also, like, I mean, yeah, just how like everything just blends together so fucking well. I was gonna say I really like it's a little jumpy, but Trixie's character is so good. Like, just being around, like when she's young, and I forget what happens. Oh, someone sends the like bomb package to Rex, and he like pulls it out, or he like shoves it out in Speed's little car, and it explodes in the street, and Trixie's just like, cool beans. And then the same
Dude.
shit like that could have been super dark and awful like happens, and she's in the present time, and she's just like cool beans. I'm like, hell yeah, it's so
She's
good.
into it, dude.
Yeah,
She's just into it.
she needs that. She needs that adrenaline pumping. God, what a good fucking film. Like, I don't think there was like no part of this film where I thought it felt slow or like felt unnecessary. Like it was just such a enjoying
The one,
thing.
yeah, I don't know. I might have cut down like the fight in the middle of the Casa Cristo race. The one where they end up like all doing the thing where it flips with them all picking up the guns at the end.
Oh, yeah, I could.
I might have cut that down at least, but
yeah,
that's like
I could see some room to trim.
like I think in the middle of the movie, maybe you could cut down some of the stuff, but like the two most important races in this movie are unassailable. They're like untouchables.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, like, this was Redline's problem. In Speed Racer, they stopped the race temporarily, but it was filled with cool shit. In Redline, they stopped the race and it's dumb. Like, it's not. There's nothing making up for it.
Yeah. Like, and like compared, like, I love how fucking mad Speed is during the race. Like, when he's taking on the fucking, what's that dude's name? The like main Royalton driver, Cannonball Taylor.
Yeah.
When he's like taking him on, he's like, "Show me something," and he's like, "That move is weak. Get that weak shit off my road." That's my track. He's just fucking bullying him.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell yeah.
God.
Like, yeah, this is a fucking, it's a fucking gamer. Gamer energy.
Oh. What I'm about to do a bit of a gamer move.
Compared to like JP and Redline, who's kind of fucking never shows any emotion, honestly.
Nope. This is to Redline what, I don't know, Lord of the Rings is to a caveman wall painting. They're the same. They're kind of in the same genre, but one's a little more thought out and good.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is there? My other thing that I thought while watching this, and maybe there has been, I just didn't know about it or it flopped. Like, how the fuck was there not a good video game made out of this? Why are there? And this is kind of the thing I've been
probably a bad video game.
I saw there was
this.
one.
I don't know.
I saw that
there was like a lot of merchandising for this movie.
I can't find it again on the Wikipedia page, but I saw DS and Wii in one of these paragraphs, so that doesn't bode well.
Yeah, Speed Racer, the video game for the Wii.
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, licensed games are never good. That's how that you don't get a good video game.
Yeah, like 10 times out of 10, basically.
Look, I played Speed Racer Uno before. That was fun. Uno branded with this movie. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Apparently the merchandise did okay with kids, but like they just marketed it badly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Oh,
this movie came out the same year as Iron Man and The Dark Knight. Fun fact.
I just saw that it ranked third at the box office behind Iron Man and What Happens in Vegas. I don't give a shit about that film, but Iron Man is solid. This Iron Man, Dark Knight.
Yeah, probably coming out while Iron Man was still in theaters. Probably not great, but I don't know. I can't get over how fucking stupid most of the reviewers
they're fucking
are
awful
about this movie are bad. They're just like they like missed the point of the movie. I can't. The taste is so bad. I can't deal.
I mean, at least this Wikipedia article has like It has a bit of both. Like, it has some mixes in there. But I guess I don't know if some of these good reviews are, like, way after the fact. It's worded like it's at the time.
Because, like, the thing that turned me on to this movie being something I should watch was, like, a webcomic artist I liked wrote about how fucking good it was.
Yeah.
I was like... And it's like talked about it being like about the art metaphor part about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this movie has stuff going on. Oh.
I mean,
but I also didn't manage to get to it in a theater. I saw it when it came out on DVD.
Mm-hmm. I really like this IGN review from Todd Gilchrist, whatever. It's not merely the best film that it could be. It's pretty much exactly what it should be. And then a bunch of other good things about it. But like, sure. I'm liking these words. He wrote something about the cast, which I agree with, and kind of what I said earlier, that they're earnest and gently playful. Like how everybody managed to feel like they're part of this kind of ridiculous, well, not even kind of, this just ridiculous world. But it never felt forced. It never felt like it was like it was never like some weird like tongue in cheek thing, or like this silliness was the joke. Like, I completely bought it in a way that's just so fucking great. Man, we could have put this with Paddington. This was such a nice film. Like, it's a nice film. It's just a nice film.
That one guy gets his finger eaten by a piranha.
Like, fucking whatever. Sometimes, you know, you need a little dark to make the nice film nicer.
It's like a lot of explosions.
It's still a nice film, man.
I agree.
That family.
But it has just enough teeth that
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Dude, I really love what's his name as the villain. I don't remember the character's name or the actor's name.
Like Royalton?
Roger Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
God, he was so good. It's such like a, I don't know, like that. Just
his
it's great.
His fucking like lesson on the history of autosports says all being fixed and for capitalism. This is my religion.
Yeah,
you ready to become a real race car driver? So
yeah, good. It's all about stocks.
It's all about that DNF.
The only line I care about is the Bollinger Band on the charts.
Yeah,
something.
I mean, he knew exactly what kind of movie he was in and acted up to it.
It's so good, so good.
I also just like this idea's this movie's. It's like, oh yeah, it's about capitalism, but also this movie's idea of what winning looks like for its characters is really good. Because like the part where they win the Kaiser Christo, but the dude does not give them the information.
Yeah.
And Speed's all mad, and then when Rex gets to him, Racer X.
Racer X.
And the thing Racer X tells him, it's like, it's not about if racing never changes. It's about if we let racing change us. Like, that idea of, like, it's not about how fucked up the world is and if you can never fix it. It's about, like, still being true to yourself and, you know, following for your dreams and what you believe in. Fighting for it. You know,
yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
message.
Absolutely.
And it plays so well when Speed is fucking destroying everyone at the end.
Yeah, man.
He goes so fast, dude. He goes so fast.
See, that was the other thing, watching this first and then watching Redline, because in here, Royalton is like, at one point he's looking at a car that they're making. He's like, it can go 800 kilometers an hour. And then in Redline, like when they max out and they're fucking... the car is stretching into infinity and they're going like 300 kilometers an hour. I'm like, calm down. You could be going faster. I literally just saw people going faster. Like, so I was kind of let down.
I didn't pick up on that. That's hilarious.
Oh.
I didn't realize they were going so much slower in Redline.
Yeah, but it looks like yeah, it's just so great.
I mean, they're accelerating very quickly in those moments. It's not always about speed. It's about acceleration.
Nah, it's about speed. Don't be afraid to dump on them. Yeah, this film is so good.
Oh, speed! He goes over the cliff and he's just free falling.
Dude, it's so. Oh my god! Like, I love the fucking gadgets and stuff. This is car battles. We're throwing bees. We're climbing mountains. There's a fucking oil slick.
Yeah,
like, I'm just so I'm all about it.
Speed falls off a cliff and then like bounces off to go to the other side.
Yeah,
and
dude.
drives up it.
It's so good.
He's got the hops.
He's got hops. He's got the speed.
At the end, when it's like just the spinning, like the checkerboard is just everything because he's spinning.
Yeah,
and then it flattens out, and that fucking like screech of the fucking front of the car just fucking wilding up and
on
sparking
edge.
everywhere. Oh,
hell yeah,
it's so good, so satisfying, such a satisfying end.
Yeah, dude.
When we're doing Speed Racer, woo! I love like
So-
the cuts to all the different announcers.
Um,
And like they're the ones who were like, Rex Racer's a piece of garbage. I knew Rex Racer and he was a hero.
yeah.
All that shit.
Um,
The other big thing I'll say for this is like, oh hey, look, we have actors who know how to act when they're like completely on a green screen and
Yeah.
still like carry the emotional moments.
yeah, dude.
Like that part of it like incredibly puts the prequels to shame for like
Oh my
how
God.
good the performances that we get out of these people are when they're like in incredibly fake looking CG sets, clearly.
Yeah.
Just like in front of blue screens, and it's like it doesn't matter. it all works. Because it's like properly heightened and everybody like knows is on the right page.
Oh, totally. No, I mean, you don't even. It doesn't feel like they're in front of a green screen at all. It feels like they're in this this cartoon world.
They're
Did they
in a
not-
cartoon.
Did they not
yeah.
just film there? Is this not shot on location? So super early on, speaking of woohoo, super early on in the film, I think it's young Speed. I think it's like one of the first cuts to him and Rex racing, or just in the car driving, and he yells "Yeehaw," and I'm like, for fuck's sake, nobody yells "Yeehaw." They don't ever do it. And then I watch the rest of the film. I'm like, okay, the "Yeehaw" is justified. This is the parallel universe where "Yeehaw" is acceptable as an exclamation. But at the time, I still had those like more realistic expectations, realistic in terms of the vibe of the film, I guess. But I was like, hey, they did it. We can yell woohoo and yeehaw, and I'm for it. I'm ready. Yeah.
Just a good time.
Yeah.
Just a good time.
So Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road, the most recent of all these movies, 2015.
God, that's
Mad
so,
Max is so fucking good.
dude. It is. I mean, it's up there. I haven't sat down.
This is a great example of the way you mix practical effects and CG to like maximum effect. Because like the cars are all real, but so much about why this movie looks great is like color correction after the fact.
I mean,
also
the amount of shit. This is, I think Mad Max has the most. I think it's the most like behind the scenes, like extra, like footage effects stuff that I've watched since like Lord of the Rings. when I watched like all 30 hours on the Blu-ray or whatever.
Mhm. I mean, that makes sense because they did
There's
so much,
there's so
and
much
like
and it's so
and
cool.
like a lot of movies just don't do it. Also,
Yeah, like watching the guy, and I was telling my dad about this because like, I mean, he drives big vehicles, drives a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I've seen him back up a large trailer for like a mile, and it was terrifying, but he did it at speed. And I'm like, the stuff they're
Jesus.
doing in this film is crazy. Like, and then one of the actors on one of these commentary things was like, yeah, we expected to show up and like, you figure big action movie, it's probably a lot of CG. They'll have like maybe 10, 15 cars, and there's like 30 or 40 cars, and there's just a shitload, and then they
Yeah.
blow them all up. And oh my god, it's just so good. It's such a fucking good time. What a film. It was the first film I watched on the new TV, that that nice 4K
Mhm.
HDR nonsense. What a fucking film to start with. And I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
That was my
Oh man.
I was absolutely
Yeah,
jacked.
this one I saw in the theater when it came out.
That would be also amazing.
It was very good. I was very pleased.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe it's 2015 also. Like that feels forever ago.
Yeah.
Jesus, I was still working full time at the factory. It's forever ago, dude.
It's a different world.
Completely, literally, in like 18 billion different ways.
I
Yeah.
love the way in which it's like a reboot and like a progression, because Max is like so much further gone as a character.
Mm,
But like it doesn't, like you can just watch it without watching the other Mad Max movies. But
yeah.
if you have seen them, it does kind of pay off in terms of the way the world progresses and Max's character, kind of.
Yeah. Hang on, I constantly forget it. Oh my god, right, it's a name I can't pronounce. Who plays Furiosa? I'm looking at the name, but I want you to say it.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah. She's great.
Imperator Furiosa.
That's what I said. Uh, allow me to gaslight you for a second. That's what I said. 100%.
Yeah, she's so fucking good in this movie too.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about speaking of the actors, Tom Hardy in this and Venom.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Tom Hardy. He's very good.
You know what? I noticed that in this film he also was not much of a loser.
I mean, he is a loser. He's like hanging out in the middle of the desert eating lizards. Have
Okay.
lost his mind, and then
Wow.
he gets like fucking kidnapped and his shit stolen.
Wow, that makes him a loser for just living the life he might want to lead?
Well, no, like the point is that he's like lost it. He's like he's
Where did
crazy.
where did we get that? I didn't
The part
pick
where he
up on
says it was hard to know who was crazier, me or everyone else. And he's got like fucking a long beard and hair, and he like only talks in grunts at the start of this movie.
I guess I wasn't taking his craziness as like a literal thing, but that makes sense. That makes, looking back.
The part where he's like having all these like flashes of ghost people constantly.
Oh, yeah, you mean the part that like
His psychic visions.
yeah, I started this film with people, and that
Yeah.
whole hallway scene happened where it's like super horror-ish scary, and that turned them off. Like they didn't trust me that the rest of the film would not be that vibe. And I'm like,
that's funny.
I really don't think it is.
That's hilarious. Yeah. But so it's just like like this is the fourth movie fourth Mad Max movie. None of those aren't characters who were in any of those other movies, though.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just other people who I guess died around Max. But it is funny the way this has like apocalypse world stuff of like that Max is like low level psychic with his insanity. That's like not explicit at all, but that's because like he has this vision that keeps putting that hand to his forehead. Remember that pays off when he gets shot with that bolt in the head, and it's like sticks in his hand to like catch it, so it only like partially hits his head.
Yeah. God, what is
like bit of magical realism or whatever.
Just such a good movie. The one
It's very propulsive. Like the way it builds from one action scene to the next, and like just keeps the adrenaline going the whole time. It's just so good.
I have one incredibly minor complaint.
Sure.
Is
it when Nuts eats the bug?
Nah. I think trying to rate like this movie might surpass, like there are moments that I think on a technical level are not serial friendly, but they get a pass. Like if it's something that's so fucking cool, I can do it. It's serial friendly. We'll open the door. But
Morton Joe is not serial friendly. When he's getting sprayed down,
he's not. No, I was
a lot of like growths and grossness on people.
Yeah.
And not enough bathing.
No, so we start out and we're not really, we got to build up to the driving just a tiny bit. And we get to the driving and we get to the chase, like the one that whole thing starts, and we get our iconic like dude with a flamethrower guitar and the fucking people beating on the drums on the back of that truck. And I was like adrenaline at fucking max, at Mad Max even. And the soundtrack is really good, but it did not hold that enough. I really wanted more guitar and drums because we established them, but then at
they're like what's the fucking word? There's a word for it because those instruments are only there because like those physical people are there, the way they use them.
So we only hear them like, when they're on screen or whatever.
Yeah, when they're actually around. There's a fucking term for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Diegetic. It's diegetic. That's the word.
Okay. Today I learned.
Yeah. Like that guitar guy, when he's on screen, that's when you hear his guitar.
Yeah.
And they don't put it in any other time.
Which I can absolutely respect. And I by any means I don't think the soundtrack is bad or anything, but I know at our last car battle, when the heroes are getting kind of beat to shit, but they're still making it through, and it's like orchestral, and I'm like, why does it feel like you're trying to make me feel? People are getting like beat to shit. Turn up the drums a little, That's like, and it's such a minor thing. Like it didn't, it doesn't affect my enjoyment at all. But I do, I could see that being possibly better. Who knows? Maybe it'd be worse. Maybe I watch it and I'm like, this is too much. I don't know. But no, it's that scene with the flamethrower guitar is like, I hadn't seen like any of this shit Like I don't recall seeing any trailers for this. I don't know that anyone I know saw this film and talked about it to me at the time. Or if they did, I just ignored it because I just wasn't planning on seeing it. So this is like a fully blind thing. So I was like a fucking kid in a candy store, just eyes wide, munching on whatever the hell I was eating while watching this film. And that scene like blew my fucking mind. And then the rest of the film followed up. God, it's so good.
Yeah. Just the color of the movie is so fucking good.
Oh, dude, 100%. Where they're going into all of the wide shots, like when they're going to the sandstorm, especially like that storm
the
shit.
orange sand.
Yeah, dude, it's really good.
Yeah.
And
the thing that makes this and made it makes the movie like really separates it from like older like 80s movies of or the older Mad Max movies or whatever, or movies like trying to be that, to me, like the thing that makes this movie beyond like it's fucking great and whips is when Max tells them, you don't go across the salt plains, we have to go back. That's where home is, back.
Yeah.
That turning around. You're not gonna, the idea that there isn't this like hidden secret great air place, which is like because so many of those movies are like it ends with the characters flying off to go someplace better or whatever.
Yeah.
And this movie is like Max is like, I've been out there. There's nothing better. You were at the good place, the place where there is water and greenery. And you have to fix that.
Yeah, dude.
That's the way you're gonna survive. And like, you have to fix the world. There isn't a magical escape.
Yeah,
There's not another place you can get to. I just think it's like a much stronger message in movie. It just makes the movie better too.
Oh,
than
100%.
if it had like, because it like in that world it would have just ended with them going off into the salt worlds and Max walks the other way. Like that's not that different from how like the Road Warrior ends.
Yeah. Oh, that idea. I mean, them like, I guess, like going to Furiosa's home or whatever, and finding out like where is it? Like I thought it was this way, and like you passed it. That wasteland out there, yeah. Like welcome back, and just like yeah.
Where's everyone else? What do you mean everyone else? Yeah,
Here we
everyone else
are.
is dead.
Yeah.
Just us old ladies. You know how to kill people.
Hell yeah. No, but yeah, that idea of like fixing what you have. I mean, these days, this day and age, fixing what you have because you shouldn't or can't just fuck off. Like, I identify with that.
Yep.
Oh.
Yup.
Yeah, this is. I actually plan on. I don't know how I'll do it. I guess maybe I might have to download like the full 4K version on a hard drive or something. Because I think my parents haven't. They have a 4K TV, but not a player or anything.
Oh.
So, but I've told my dad like you need to watch this film, like it'll blow your mind. So I'm definitely when I'm in the States, I'm gonna like priority number one.
Fair enough.
Also, I was gonna mention, and we got talking on other things. The scene at night where it's like all blue as hell because didn't they like they filmed during the day and then they just
that's a classic
Yeah.
movie technique, day for night. Yeah.
it just felt more. I mean, like when you were talking about color, that's what I was gonna mention.
Oh,
Like, just that.
like that one, that trick in particular of shooting during the day and just making everything blue. That's like classic
Yeah,
what
but like
lots of movies do.
they don't need to do it these days, you know? Or they don't need to make it that obvious, I guess.
They just don't. You're not shooting outside because you're shooting on a green in a studio.
Yeah, I guess.
So you see it less often, I think.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, man.
Just love that part where like Max is like, after they get the truck unstuck and they have to like drive it up ahead to cool it off, and then Max goes back to take care of the fucking blind guy who's coming up on them. He's like, what if the truck's ready by the time you go back? And he's just like, fucking leave. And he's like, he comes back covered in blood with like all their guns. He's like, you're bleeding. That's not his blood. He's washing himself in milk. Aw, that's shit's so good.
Dude,
And just Tom Hardy in this movie, I just fucking love his he's focused on survival.
yeah,
he's
man.
He's not a wisecracker,
Yeah.
which is kind of what Max was
Oh, okay.
a little bit.
Making some jokes, but he's not Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, depends which Spider-Man.
Oh, this guy.
Making more jokes than Tobey Maguire.
Not hard to do. I do that every time we record this podcast. Our jokes combined would leave Tobey Maguire in a coma. He wouldn't be able to comprehend how funny we are in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he wouldn't recognize them because our jokes aren't all homophobic.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Pow! Oh, 1-2.
I'm still mad about that movie.
Dude.
He's like one joke.
And
it's that one.
Yeah. I fucking watching, I don't know how long ago that was. Well, it must not have been too long ago because it spawned some of the other movie ideas. But rewatching Highlander for the first time in like over a decade, and fucking the bit where he's in the police station and one of the cops is like, I'll bet you were in that parking garage to meet your male friend or whatever the fuck he says, and like they toss some slurs around, and then Highlander guy is like, you're sick, that's disgusting. I'm like, oh Jesus fuck, this scene had completely left. I'm just sitting there like alone, like completely uncomfortable, like God, I had forgotten that scene existed. It's so fucking brutal. No good.
I'm glad this movie doesn't have a village of children.
Did a former Mad Max film have that?
Yeah, the third Mad Max movie.
Not great.
A Lost Boys village.
Oh
that
God,
Max winds up in.
Yeah, that sounds no good.
I don't love it.
I mean, like kids shouldn't be.
I mean, that movie had a Thunderdome in it, so that was like a positive.
Yeah.
Then it had
that
Lost Boys Village.
Wild.
It is also funny, like, the first Mad Max movie is such a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not... Like, there's sort of an apocalypse happened, but it's not post-apocalyptic-y. And there's, like, a part in the middle where Mel Gibson's just, like, on vacation with his family. They're just hanging out. And his family gets murdered, and he goes crazy and kills people. And then it ends.
Neat. Yeah.
It's like, it's a, it was of the era where like people were like, oh, grim anti-heroes, they're the best.
I mean, yeah, I've been there.
That's the coolest.
I was like 15 once. If it's not an anti-hero, then why bother? Don't talk to me.
What if it's Speed Racer? And he's gonna go and get that weak shit off my track.
Me at 15, like it needs to the hero needs to be dark. He needs to like Punisher shit, like fuck this never killing people stuff. Just bash their skulls in. Me at 27, I'm like, what if like it was just nice? What if they went fast and threw bees at each other? It was nice.
What if he said, I'm kind of a loser?
I have an edit in mind for that line that I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Yeah. Be ready.
Do I have any other notes? I don't think so.
I see that Furiosa is like a prequel film is being made. Supposedly, do we like? Is that a thing?
I have no idea.
Is that a thing that just died?
I don't know. Like, this movie was so hard for them to make that I'm like not holding my breath on them making another one.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, it's honestly, it's a miracle this movie came out at all and that it was so good.
Dude, watching the behind the scenes shit, and I think it was just George Miller was talking about how he had the idea for like the what are the guys called, all of Joe's minions,
The War Boys.
He had the idea for them like waving back and forth on the vehicles, like with the poles, but they like looked at it a little bit and they were like, yeah, there's like, he's like, yeah, there's no way this is getting done, like that'll be CG or whatever. And then they fucking went and did it, so like all these stunt people are doing it at speed. It's fucking ridiculous. Like this whole film, like, and he just like comes out and he sees him doing it, and, like freaked out. God,
I mean, yeah.
Like it's just fucking crazy how much of this film is like, yeah, no, they just did it. Like
they just did it, dude.
Like, where the truck has to flip and slide into like block that passage. Like they just did it. They just fucking flipped the truck. And like I guess George Miller once again, like he thought the dude driving died. Because like it got absolutely crushed, and they saw something in the footage, but it turns out it was like one of the dummies. So he just straight up thought the dude got impaled or whatever. Was like freaking out. Oh,
and then they shot all that, and then they had to spend like over a year editing.
Yeah. God, such a fucking good film. I love practical effects shit, like
I do want to like note like the color correction is so like the digital post-processing they do on this footage is also incredibly important.
Totally.
So just to say that like it's the mix of practical and modern computer effects working as like to support them that makes this so such a good movie. Like
1,000%.
Like that shit is important.
Have you? I know it exists. I have like zero desire to see it. There's like that chrome, like that black and white edition, and I just can't imagine that it's worth watching.
Yeah. No, I could see watching this movie like soundtrack only, but before I just wouldn't want to take the color out of it. The color is so fucking good.
Yeah, dude. Well, and I think the thing Because I looked it up a little bit. Once I learned it exists, I was trying to find like if anybody had watched it or like thought it was worth. And of course, you had people who were like, "Yeah, the black and white really lets you focus on the performances and all that stuff."
Man.
But
I don't know, black and white is like a different thing, and if you're shooting for black and white, you need to shoot differently. But I don't know. This movie was shot in a way that would work.
See, that's what I was
watch
gonna
this
say.
this way.
The counter argument, yeah. If you're doing that, you gotta shoot it that way, and it just wasn't. Like, he wanted to, but he didn't shoot it to be in black and white. So when you take out the color, it's just a modern film in black and white.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely up there. Definitely up there for films. Where did you like end up completing that list of like best films since turn of the century?
I mean, more movies have come out since I was working on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's you have another like what, 80 years of work?
Well,
if you're going to do the
a list.
I was just curious where these came in. Max and Speed Racer.
Looking at the list as I left it, I had Speed Racer at 7 and Mad Max at 16.
Okay. What's at the top, out of curiosity? Now that we're here.
Little Otik is number 1.
Do I even know what the hell that is? Little.
You remember the Swedish movie with
that fucking film? That cursed film is your number 1 film at the time.
Dude. That movie
really
rules.
Jesus,
I love that movie.
Cursed as hell.
The eyeball comes out of the hole and then it goes away, and then their teeth, I think their teeth, and then the eyeball comes in, and then it goes back to teeth.
What's your number?
It's about stories.
Okay. What's your number 2?
I think my number 2 was The Royal Tenenbaums.
Okay, another movie that one I definitely don't know.
And number 3 was Adaptation.
Okay, hey, wow, what a pick for number 1. Good job. That's great. Good stuff. Man,
I mean, if I started working on this, maybe I would come up with different picks. This is what I did when I was making this list.
Yeah.
2017. That was when the last edit was.
Rise of Skywalker, straight to the top.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, this was a good movie night. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like I'd been meaning to watch Redline, so I'm glad that I experienced it. I literally had never heard of Death Proof in my entire life at all. So then to find out it's Tarantino, I'm like, oh, like it's not just gonna be a shit film, at least, probably. So that was good times. And then, I mean, Speed Racer is great, and like at the end of the day, this whole thing was just an excuse to rewatch Mad Max. So
yeah,
this was good shit.
It's a good time.
Hell yeah.
Salt Circle Podcast at gmail.com, Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Find our episode hosted at anchor.fm/Salt Circle, and we're on all the pod catchers, the choice. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
Hell yeah. I'm not on Twitter.
And now we're gonna die because you didn't wear the socks.